Hey everybody, Chris Seeds, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. This week is a bit sad. I am marking the end of an era. I went for a run the other week, and as I was running, my Wii Fit meter fell off and the battery flew out. Actually it didn't, it came apart. It came apart because this was still clipped to my shorts and this fell out and the battery popped out, and I hadn't synced in weeks, so all that progress of walking and climbing and whatever was lost, and I couldn't import that into Wii Fit anymore. So I finished my run and I said, you know what, I'm not even going to bother wearing the Fit meter anymore because I think I'm done with Wii Fit. Which is a shame, because for those of you who have been following me since my days at gaygamer.net, you might already be aware of how amazing Wii Fit is, or at least how amazing I think it is. And for those of you who were not around back in 2008, when Wii Fit originally was released, let me just tell you, that game changed my life. I'm not even kidding. It's the game that I've played the longest, next to Animal Crossing. I played it Wii Fit, and then like a year or so later they came out with Wii Fit Plus. Then there was Wii Fit U on the Wii U, and I continued playing it. Because when it was first announced, I was intrigued. I pre-ordered at Nintendo World, because you get a free t-shirt. I tried to find that t-shirt to wear today, but I am afraid I might have accidentally thrown it out. There are a bunch of t-shirts that I keep in the back of the closet that I don't wear anymore for whatever reason. They don't fit, they are gross and faded or torn, but they have sentimental value, so I don't throw them out. And the Wii Fit t-shirt is one of those. It does not fit, because at the time, I asked for an extra large, because at the time, I was 185 pounds when I started Wii Fit, and I was buying extra large everything, just so that it would be baggy, and you couldn't see how large I was. So, I looked, I could not find it, which is why I'm wearing my Too Tight Body by Nintendo shirt that I also keep in the closet, because it's too tight and it's uncomfortable. And I don't know why it's so tight, but it is. But I got Wii Fit when it came out, and my plan was to review it for gaygamer.net. And my plan was to do every week. I think I did it on Mondays. I was like, here's my, or Fridays, I don't remember which day it was, but I was like, here's my weekly progress in Wii Fit. And I would post a screenshot that I would take. But you couldn't do screenshots back then, so I had to literally take a picture with my camera. And I would post the next week's review. And I stretched out the review because, you know, that way I could say, you know, okay, now I'm going to try these exercises, and now I'm going to try this part of the game, and now I'm going to explore this aspect of the game, because there was a lot to it. And rather than force myself to plow through the whole thing as quickly as possible so that I could write one big review, I said, let me stretch it out and play it the way it's supposed to be played a little bit every day, and see if it actually causes me to lose any weight. And sure enough, over time, because I was making myself play Wii Fit every day of the week for at least 20 to 30 minutes every day. And I did tend to do, I liked the running in place, where I would just jog in my living room with the Wiimote in my waistband as like a pedometer. And because you could either do it on, you could watch yourself running on screen, your little me running on screen, or you could listen to prompts through the speaker in the Wiimote in your hand or your waistband, and you could just watch TV. So I would just put on TV and I would just jog in my living room for a half an hour and burn some calories, and it was great. And I noticed, you know, as the weeks went on, I was like, my weight is actually going down slightly. And I thought, if I start to, watch what I'm eating, maybe that would help. So I cut down quite a bit on, like, eating garbage. I ate smaller portions with dinner, and the weight continued to come off even more so than before. It, exercise more and eat less. It's true. That's what works. And after 3 months, I had lost a grand total of 25 pounds just using Wii Fit. Just watching what I ate a little bit and doing Wii Fit every day. I lost 25 pounds over 3 months. It was crazy. So that's when I said I need to take this to the next level. And I was enjoying the running in my living room. So I had a friend at work, she's a runner, and she was like super excited about how I was getting in shape and losing weight, and she's like, good for you, this is amazing. And she was more than happy to take me to a store and buy me a good solid pair of running shoes, which I then started running. And I didn't even have to like ease into it, like I didn't have to do like a couch to 5K program or anything, because I was already running for a half an hour in my living room, so I built up my endurance. So now it was, instead of running in place, I would actually run forward. And I started running, and I would run further and further. I would get up in the morning, and I would run 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles, 6 miles, whatever. I joined New York City Roadrunners, and I started to participate in races, a 5K here, a 10K here, a 5-miler here. And I actually built up, I trained, and actually ran the New York City Half Marathon in 2009, which boggled my mind when I looked up when Wii Fit came out in order to talk about it today. And I realized that it was like a year and 3 months later, like I buy Wii Fit, and just over a year later, I'm running a half marathon. That's insane. So, thank you, Nintendo, for making Wii Fit. Because by running, I dropped even more weight, and I actually got myself down to what the game said was my ideal BMI, but body mass index is sketchy at best anyway. And when I got down to what it said was my ideal weight of 145 pounds, I felt like I was too skinny, so I let it go back up again, because I was like, ugh. But then, of course, I got into running, so it was less, I did less Wii Fit, and then, the running, I would hurt my knee, and I'd have to take time off, or I hurt my foot another year, and whatever. So I was doing less and less and less Wii Fit, and sadly, even I started doing it again when Wii Fit U came out, and I was excited about the Fit meter, because you would just wear this, and then even if you weren't playing Wii Fit, you could still sync this in, and it was fun to see, like, oh, I've climbed enough stairs that it's like the Statue of Liberty, or I've climbed to the top of Mount Everest, that took a long time. But it was fun to, like, do those things and see real-world progress. But I was doing less and less of the actual exercises in Wii Fit. It was basically just the sit-ups and the push-ups and the plank and stuff, like those kinds of basic ones. I can still play Wii Fit if I want. I just won't sync the Fit meter. But I sort of feel like I might be done with Wii Fit in general, which is sad, because it, like I said, it helped. It helped me lose a lot of weight. And I could still lose a little weight now, because I have gone back up. I'm not where I was when I started Wii Fit 9 years ago, but I'm a little bigger than I would like to be. I would like to be in a little better shape, because also when I was running and healthy and stuff, I felt like I got sick less, which would be nice, because I'm not feeling great today. My voice is a little scratchy. I apologize for that. But it's just sad. End of an era. I'm kind of done with Wii Fit, which is sad. It also was the last thing I was using my Wii U for, because normally when I replace a console with its next generation, I put the previous generation in the bedroom and attach it to that TV. So my Xbox 360 and my PS3 are in the bedroom. because the Xbox One and the PS4 are out here in the living room. But I kept the Wii U out here because I was still playing Wii Fit occasionally. So even though I had a Switch, I kept my Wii U as well. But now I think it's just going to sit there and collect dust, which is a bit sad. In other gaming news, because I do want to talk about this as well as Wii Fit, in good news, I continue to be hopelessly addicted to Infamous Second Son. Who knew? I actually have not played No Man's Sky in weeks. It's kind of crazy. I come home from work now and I want to play Infamous. Because also, if I've had like a rough day, I like it because I'm blowing shit up. And there's something really satisfying right now about blowing shit up to take down a corrupt government. I don't know why that is. But it's great fun. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I got a little nervous this past week because I reached the point in the game where I realized it's the halfway point, because I suddenly was like, I'm clearing this map. There's, like, not a lot left. Am I almost done with this game? This is a really short game. But then I happened to be like, oh, what's this bridge? Oh, and I scrolled down on the map, and I'm like, oh, there's a whole other section down here that's just as big as that, if not a little bigger. So I was like, oh, I'm halfway through. And then I started getting all the achievements for, like, you know, here's a trophy for collecting half the shards, and here's a trophy for collecting this half of this, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm at the halfway point. So naturally, this is where the game is like, here, have new powers. And this is what killed Infamous 2 for me, was I was so into the electrical powers that when they switched to the ice powers, I did not like them at all, and I stopped playing. Here, I got neon powers, which I will say, thankfully, they're similar enough in how they behave to the fire powers that it wasn't as off-putting to use the neon powers. Also, they're really kind of colorful and fabulous, which I enjoy. But the thing that surprised me is I was standing next to a smokestack and it said absorb smoke, and I went, So I absorbed the smoke and I switched back to my fire powers, and I said, oh my god, I can switch between the powers. I had no idea. The game did not tell me this. And I'm thinking that in Infamous 2, I could probably have done the same thing, but I never tried because the game didn't tell me that I could, and I assumed I now just had ice powers, and I was going to have to deal with that. And I'm assuming if I went back and put in Infamous 2, I could absorb some electricity and switch back and have my good powers again. But whatever, it's too late now. But there is, to be fair, though, because we don't have manuals anymore. And without a manual, you need the game to... people complain about tutorials, but you need that because there's no manuals anymore, people. I need the game to tell me what I can do. So if the game tells me, hey, you can switch between your powers, I'm like, sweet, thank you so much for letting me know. You know, because it tells you, it's like, okay, here's what this button will do, and here's what this button will do, and here's this new power, press this button and do this. And I'm like, thank you, that's very helpful. Although, to be fair, in Infamous Second Son, just before the boss fight, the game forces you back into your fire powers, and then forces you back into your neon powers, so the game itself would have shown you that you can switch back and forth just before that boss fight. Even if like the little tutorial screen doesn't specifically come up and take you out of the game, the actual gameplay itself would have clued you into the fact that you can switch between them. And I would have been like, oh, okay. That boss fight was kind of a bitch, though. Like, that was really frustrating, and I am, like, now at the point where I'm like, hopefully I can actually finish this game. Like, the actual game itself should be fine, but that boss fight was so hard. I was like, I am gonna struggle at the end of this game, I'm afraid. With the final boss, I'm not sure I'll actually be able to see those end credits roll. We'll see what happens. I'm also making some progress in Miitopia, which is delightful. I feel like I'm probably, like... I want to say I'm heading for the end game, but I'm probably closer to, like, 3/4 of the way through it. We'll see. But Like, I've had all my friends stolen from me like 3 times, and now I'm getting my friends back piece by piece, but in different combinations, and I'm making my way towards the final villain, so I feel like I'm at least 3/4 of the way through. But I want to get that finished, because then, once I finish Miitopia, then I can go buy the new Professor Layton game, which is out already, and I have not bought it because I'm still trying to finish Miitopia. And I can't, because if I buy it and play it, I'll never go back to Miitopia. I've said this before, I'll keep saying it for all of my life. I can't buy a new game until I finish what I'm playing, or I will never finish. I can say I'll come back to it later, that never happens. Except for No Man's Sky. I will always go back to No Man's Sky, because that's like the eternal game that just keeps, you could just keep playing it forever. So at any point, I can always go back to No Man's Sky. So that's it for this week. Come back next week, and maybe I'll have finished something, or I'll have just made more progress. We shall see. And, yeah, so that's it. Bye!